20 years, today's guest is someone who has 10 books and several articles to her credit. Someone to have juggled between being a freelance journalist, copywriter, bookkeeper, teacher, and salesperson, and now a homemaker. Let's ask Shobha Nihalani where all she found her most interesting character inspirations. Welcome, Shobha, to our show Between the Lines.
Thank you for having me on the show. I'm so excited to share all my journey and all the wonderful things and exciting things that I've experienced through my journey as a writer. And yes, there have been many different things that have inspired me to write, and very often it's like something like this painting, for example. So this painting is what I found at an exhibition in Pune, and I was so inspired by it that I felt that I could actually work with blue jade on this one, because it just really touched my heart to see Mirabai being depicted in this way. So I had to include Mirabai in my book, and that's where the inspiration came from.
How much of it was driven by your need to write? I mean, you've juggled between several roles in professional as well as personal life. How much of it was driven by the need to write?
It's strange how it's like a pull, you know. I just felt that I just had to write. And as an only child, I was inspired by books. I used to read a lot of books, and the stories were so amazing that I felt that I would love to write stories like that. And slowly it developed from there. I would write short stories, I would write short articles, and sometimes even humor, some poetry. I started a blog post as well, and then from then on, I felt no, I need to do a little more than just write simple stories or a blog post. So I started working on novels, and it's just developed from there. One story led to inspiration for my next one. Um, Even traveling, I would see some interesting monuments, and I would be so inspired by that. There would be people I would meet during my different journeys and different countries that I've lived in. And from there, it just grows and grows. It's like there's a lot of fodder for my imagination, you could say, in real life.
Your book, The Blue Jade, in fact, most of your books have, very strong female characters. They have the most intriguing female characters. Why women protagonists?
I feel women are very strong characters, very strong in the sense they are flexible, they can adjust easily to any environment. They are uh, as gentle and soft like our mothers. They can be as strong and vengeful as certain characters. In that sense, I feel the depth that I can put in with the female character to develop a story. That's why I feel that I've always been leaning towards writing characters that are female. Mostly my protagonists are all female.
It's a special affinity towards women and women characters that makes you always choose a main female lead.
When you read and when you hear stories in real life about women being abused or women struggling or in any way that they've been dealt with badly, I feel that it gives a strong storyline. So when I start some of my books, it's with the character who's going through a struggle and who's a little bit weak. But then at the end of the story, she's strong, she's empowered, she can do so many different things. She takes control of her own life. There's no one directing her, telling her what to do. She's not suppressed anymore. She is powerful. And I like to write stories of women like that. And in fact, I mean, it's not just women. I think anyone who's been suppressed, who's been controlled, who's had to deal with a lot of issues in life, and they overcome all these obstacles, and they are able to do what they want to do, which is achieve certain goals. I admire people like that, whether men or women.
And those make for interesting stories as well.
Yes, exactly. So I'm inspired by characters. I'm inspired by strong people who are keen to make something of their lives, and who find a way to do it, to reach their goals.
You write thrillers, and they also have dark characters. How do these dark characters affect you? Do they affect you at all? I mean, do you delve in them at times so much to find yourself disturbed, or it's just become a part of your routine writing process?
I enjoy writing about dark characters because I feel nobody is really perfect, and everybody has some secret, some dark side to them. And it's just fascinates me. I think it's to do with human behavior, the psychology of why a certain person does behaves in a certain way, and how they react to certain situations. I feel that's the reason why I am drawn more to writing about dark characters and trying to understand where that darkness comes from, and how they deal with
I
it.
mean, does it affect you, impact you at times negatively when you are working on a character which is dark? Or you just take it in a stride? You don't.
I do feel a little bit down. I do feel a little bit that I need to get out of this dark zone, and like just change my atmosphere. And then I usually put the book aside, and I'm okay, and I just get back to being my happy, chirpy self.
The Blue Jade is set around art and artifacts, and there's smuggling and theft. How do you get your facts right for such subjects, which are slightly off the regular thriller masala?
Yes, it's fascinating because I've always been passionate about artifacts and ancient monuments and heritage sites. I feel that they should not be desecrated, they should be protected, and they should be well taken care of. So when I hear about, or I've read stories about art crime, or when artifacts are destroyed or stolen, I felt very strongly about it, and therefore I wanted to learn more. So, to write for Blue Jade, I did some online research, and I also did an online course about art crime and artifacts trade and the smuggling.
Oh, there's a course on that?
Yes, yes, because if you want to be an art curator, there's also a side where you have to learn about all of these different kinds of uh, copies, like say the fakes. There's a lot of fake paintings, and then how do you know the real from the fake, or how artifacts are stolen from the sites, the original sites, and then how they're taken overseas, and nobody knows that they are stolen objects, and sold on famous auctions at famous auction sites. So it's just very sad that how these places are desecrated and no one seems to know about it. So I just felt like I wanted to bring it to light through this book.
Coming back to the aspect of sketching characters and drawing inspiration from people around and places around, uh, are there instances where a character defines or decides the next move or what happens next in the plot?
Yes, it does happen suddenly. I could be like halfway through the book, and suddenly I feel like my protagonist um, has a certain direction that I feel she's pulling herself towards. So in the Blue Jade, the protagonist Neelam, she dislikes traveling to India. She's actually born and brought up in Hong Kong. So for her, India is essentially a foreign country. But, and also because of what happened to her parents in India, she was totally against India in that sense. But then, when she wanted to complete the mission, which is to take this blue jade Krishna pendant to India, she suddenly started developing a fondness for the country, a sort of a connection with every city that she visited. She started feeling that she was connected in some way and connecting to her roots in a way. So, when you look at it from a perspective of, say, uh, the crime branch in India who are guiding her and also helping her in a certain extent, to a certain extent, they kind of looked at her as she's doing a patriotic act because she's taking something that belonged to India, stolen so many times, lost for centuries, and she's bringing it back to India and placing it where it's meant to be, in a monument where it belonged. So, in a sense, they were also looking at it from that aspect. And slowly, Neelam also felt that, very connected to India and fond, and she was very fond of the country and the place and all the cities and different heritage sites she had visited. So, yes, I mean, I do feel that sometimes characters pull you in a direction totally unexpectedly.
Who inspired the character Neelam?
So Neelam is quite an interesting character. I feel that she came about more because I was thinking about young Indians, NRIs, who've not really visited India, who know India only from their parents and grandparents, who hear stories about India but haven't really experienced India. So I felt that Neelam was such a character because she's so interested in heritage and culture. She would be the perfect person who can relate to this idea of not being in India, not born there, but creating an affinity for the country because of her roots, her ancestral roots. So that's how the character came about. It's because I wanted to talk about an NRI living who just basically heard about India from the family. That's what inspired me actually.
And would your fans, who've been following all your books, would they find a lot of people around you who come very close to some or the other character in your books?
In real life, not really, no. Only for the non-fiction books. Non-fiction, yes, but fictional, not really, no. I create my own characters.
Shobha, I hear you love old songs. Would you like to hum a few lines for us?
Well, I like new songs as well, but there is one particular song that's so inspiring and it's quite old. Actually, don't quite remember the movie name, but I think it's a Geeta Tat song, and it's I'll just sing a few lines, okay? Um, Let me start. Hey 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 तदबीर से बिगड़ी हुई तकदीर बना ले, तकदीर बना ले, अपने पे भरोसा है तो ये दाम लगा ले, लगा ले, दाम लगा ले. That's just a few lines.
Thank you so much, Shobha, for spending time with us today. I mean, you're far, far away from us, but still, it was great fun. And thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. I had a lot of fun chatting with you and hope to meet you soon, very soon.
And that was Shobha Nihalani for you. Until the next time, keep smiling, stay safe, and draw lots and lots of inspiration from people and places around you to chalk out those perfect characters that you want to always read and write. Bye.